Okay, so we're going to start multiplying some decimals here. First, we'll take 7.7 times 0.7. Remember, we're just going to multiply them like normal numbers, and at the end, we'll move the number of spaces, the number of decimal places there are. So if we think about that, there's 1, 2, so there's 2 spaces. So at the end, we'll move it so there's 2 spaces of decimal places. So 7 times 7 is 49. And then we have 49 again, 50, 51, 52, 53. So we have that, and we need to go 2 spaces. So we go 1, 2, and so we should get 5.39. There's 2 spaces after the decimal place, and that should be our number when we multiply those two together. Now, when we multiply this one, we have 1 here, we have 2 here, so they're going to be 3 spaces on the next one. So we'll have 35.3 times 3.81. Well, we multiply by 1, that's going to be 3, 5, 3. Multiply by 8, that's going to give us 24. And we're going to have 42. And that's going to be 24 plus 4, so that's going to give us 28. Then we have 3 times 3, it's going to give us 9. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So if we add all this together, we have 3, and then that's going to be a 9, and that's going to be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's going to be 13, 14. Carry 1, so that's going to be 3, and that's going to be 1. We had 3 spaces, so we're going to put it there, and that's 1, 2, 3. So our answer then is 134.493. Now the next one, we have to multiply two negatives. Remember, negative times negative is positive, so we can kind of say, okay, well, negative times negative is positive. We don't have to worry about those. And so now we're just going to take 2.31 times 4.1. Now that's 1, 2, 3 spaces again. When we get done, so we have 1, 3, 2, and we have 4, and that's going to be a 12, and that's going to be 8, 9. That's going to be 1, 7, 4, 9. 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to get 9.471. Okay, so that's what we do if we just have simple multiplying of two numbers together, and just the key thing is how many spaces are there. All right, so this one we have to do a couple things. So on the first one, we have to multiply these two items together, and we also have to square this one. So if we multiply those first two, I'm going to put the larger number on top. So I'm going to put 1.88 because there's 3 positions here, and just 6.3 on the next one. And we're going to multiply that. So 3 times 8 is 24. That's 24, 25, 26. That's 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now then we take the 6 times the 8, and we get the 48. And we get 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. And then 6 plus 5 gets our 11. So we add that up, we get the 4, then we get the 14, we get the 8, the 1, the 1, and we move it 1, 2, 3 spaces. So that's 11.844. Now we have to take the 2.2 and multiply it by itself. I mean, when you do that, the negatives cancel. So we just have to take 2.2 times 2.2. So that's going to be 4, 4. That's 4 and 4. And so we get 484. And we move it 1, 2. So we have that. So now what we have is 11.844. And then we have minus 4.84. So this minus, when you square it, goes away, but this one stays. So now we just line up the decimals, and we have 11.844, and then we have minus 4.84. Let's go ahead and add that 0 there to kind of fill in everything. So 4 minus 0 is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. 8 minus 8 is 0. And then here we have basically a 7, because 4 was going to carry over here, and it's going to be, 4 and 7 is going to give us the 11. And so that should be our answer of 7.004. Now, on this one, we're just plugging in A, our B, and our C into this and then evaluating it. So basically we're going to get something like the first one where you have to multiply and you have to square and things and then subtract. So if we do this, we have a negative 2.1 minus b, which is 3.2, times c, which is 0.9, and that is squared. So first I'm going to take and square 0.9, and then I'm going to take and multiply that by 3.2, and then I'm going to subtract it from the negative 2.1. So let's multiply here, 0.9 times 0.9. Well, 9 times 9 is 81. Move it over 2 spaces so we get 0.81, 4.9 squared. Now 3.2 times our, let's put 0.81 on top actually, maybe. 0.81. And now we can erase our times here, and we'll put it a little bit above. And so we put the times here. So now we have 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 8 is 16. Now we have 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 8 is 24. Now we add that, that's a 2, that's a 9, that's a 5, that's a 2. We move it 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. So that's 2.592. So now we have that. So we have a negative 2.1 minus 2.592. And when we do that, basically we're taking two like signs, adding them together. So now we'll take 2.592 plus 2.1. Go ahead and add those two zeros in. And our final answer is going to be negative. So that's going to be a 2, a 9, a 6, and then a point, then our 4. And that should be our final answer there when we take and plug in the A, the B, and the C into our equation there. All right. All right, so this one, what we're doing is we're multiplying by powers of 10. And so when we do that, when we take the power of 10, n here is equal to 2. So that means we're going to move the decimal 1, 2 spaces to the right, which then gives us 3072.8. Now here, n is 3, so we're going to move it 3 spaces to the right. So let's go ahead and add some zeros here. So if we add it 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3, so that gives us 4130 for our answer. And we can put 0.0, but since we have a 0 on here, we can just drop it. It's like adding a 0 on some of our other numbers. We can just add them or subtract them like we did right here. We just added some to make it so it's easier to add. We can leave it off here at just 0.2. All right, so here we're going to use the two equations for circumference and area, and we're going to simplify. And the first one we're going to do to the nearest 1/10 of an inch, and then the second one we're going to do to the nearest 100th of a square inch. So we have a diameter in inches, so that means we can use this part of the equation, and then we have to do this equation. We have to find what the radius is. So our radius is basically dividing that by 2. So 2 will go in here. We have a point. That'll be a 4. Subtract, that'll be 0. Bring down our 3. That goes in 1. That's 2. Subtract, that's 1. Bring down our 8. That's 9. So 2.19 is going to be our radius. So we can do our circumference and our area. So A is our circumference, and that's just going to be 3.14 times our diameter, which was the 4.38. And so that's going to give us, well, 4.38 times 3.14. 4 times 8 is 32. 3 times 4 is 12. 13, 14, 15. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 1 is 17. And we have 8, 3, 4. And then 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 3 is 9, 10, 11. And 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So we have 2, 8 and 5 is 13. 7 and 3 is 10, 11, and then 15. We have 4 and 3 is 7. And we have a 3, and then we have a 1. And we move it 1, 2, 3, 4. So we move it 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be our number with all the decimals, but they want it to the nearest tenth of an inch. So that's our rounding digit. This is our test digit. Well, that's greater than or equal to 5. So we move that up 1. And so this is going to be 13.8 inches. Okay. So B, what we have to do is we have to take and find area, which is going to be 3.14 times our radius, which we found to be 2.19 squared. Okay, so we're going to take 2.19 times 2.19. So 9 times 9 is 81. 9 times 1 is 9 plus 8. That's going to give us 17. 2 times 9 is 18 plus 1 is 19. And then we have a 9 and a 1 and a 2 because 1 times all that's going to be just 219. And now we take 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. And 2 times 2 is 4. So that gives us a 1, 14, 15, 16, 9, 10, 19, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's a 4. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4.7961. So that's just the 2.19 squared. And so now we take that number, 4.7961 times 3.14. And again, these become more complicated because we're really taking 47,961 times 314. And then at the end, we just move our decimals. So they're big numbers we're multiplying. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 9 is 36, 37, 38. 4 times 7 is 28, 29, 30, 31. 4 times 4 is 16, 17, 18, 19. And then we have 1, 6, 9, 7, 4. And multiply by 3, we have 3. And then 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 7 is 20. 3 times 9 is 27, 28. 3 times 7 is 21, 22, 23. 3 times 4 is 12, 13, 14. So it gives us a 4, a 5. And then we have a 9 and 8, so that's going to be 17. And then 10 and 9 is 19. That's going to be 15 and 10, so that's 25. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4, 5, and then 1. And we move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it looks to be 15 point. Now they want it to the hundredths, so we better round that. So here's our rounding digit, here's our test digit. That is bigger than 5, so we round that up. So it's going to be 0.6, and that's inches squared for the area. Okay. So now we've got our area as well as our circumference. All right, so the next one we have a bill, and we're going to be charged so much per kilowatt hour and up to a number, and then what we need to do is basically multiply what we have for kilowatt hours times the number of hours we actually use. So on a recent bill, PGE charged 0.11531 dollars per kilowatt hour for the first 333 kilowatt hours of electrical power used. Now, if a household only used 312 kilowatt hours, what was their electric bill? So what we're going to have to do is just take 312 times this number here, and we should get our electrical bill. So 0.11531 times 312. So 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 5 is 10, 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3, and then 2 times 1 again is 2. Now we have 1, 3, 5, 1, 1. All right. So now we have 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 9 is, or 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 5 is 15, 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4, and then 3 times 1 is 3. Now we have to add all that together. So it gives us a 2, that's a 7, that's a 6. So that's going to be a 6 and 9, 8 and 9, so that's 17. And carry 1, then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 5, 3. We have to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And because bills are usually in dollars and cents, that means we're going to round it to this one. That's our rounding digit. That is greater than. So it looks like our bill should be $35.98. Okay. So that's what we had to do here. Now, this one, since it was less than the total per thing, we just had to multiply those two together. And so that was all we had to do. Sometimes what the questions will say is up to a certain point, it's this much. After that point, it's this much. And then you have to start doing multiple pieces to do each of those problems. But for now, they're going to keep it simple for you. And that's all I have for this part of the segment.